the obvious instances of this item literally cannot be here, you get thrown for a loop.
Yeah, I mean it's all betting on odds and taking the most efficient pathing between what you think is the highest value plays. But it looks like the runners are off. Ponk lagging a little bit behind Sephi here. But yeah, the runners are on their way, so I guess we'll see if this gets synced up, but
yeah, I'm not sure entirely. I think maybe just the streams were off, but I don't know. Ponk might have started a little bit late too. It seemed like quite a delay there.
Yeah. It looks like Ponk was the last one to ready up, though, so I don't think he would have stepped away or anything, but moonfalls from both. And what do you think, other than Morphing Ball, that we see here for Sephi is going to be in the first two items, Cheaty Face?
I'm going to go ahead and gamble on high jump boots. I just really like high jump boots. Let's go for that.
I'll go Spring Ball, just to be contrarian.
Well, we had that, so...
Well, you know.
Twice in a row. What couldn't hurt?
I had a set of races, actually, with Leno in the other part of that bracket, or part of that match. It was a 2v2, or 2-1v1 or whatever. And we had the same sequence of items for the first 4 or 5 items, and we're all just very curious if it was the same seed there for a minute. But Grappling Beam wins the day, and some Power Bombs.
Grappling Beam. That enables early X-ray without having to worry about deboosting, so that's nice. Also gives them away across the mode if they decide to go wreck ship early, which I don't know if they will with that speed, but you never know.
Yeah, new logic, wrecked ship without speed is even lower yield than it used to be, but can still be worth doing, obviously, if it pays off. But Sephi getting his Grappling Beam as well out of the ceiling. That Rio was being a little bit of a jerk.
Yeah, it's really hard to line them up properly if you screw up the initial deboost. I was saying it last game, but they just move around really wonky, and they're never quite where they were before. So the consensus is for most people just to reset the room if you don't feel like waiting for the little what are they called?
The Rio?
No,
or the Gamer.
The Gamers, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I usually will take the first 2 Rio swoops and then go for the Gamer backup. Interestingly, Ponk blowing by the Mother Brain Tank missile. Think that's worth commenting on, and it looks like Sephi is going to check that location. We'll see if it's super missiles.
Nope, just regular missiles.
Just regular, but...
And that's not bad. Now he has one of every ammo type.
Yeah, they both have supers already, so... I guess with supers and power bombs, you can think about just blowing by a lot of the early miners. That one requiring a power bomb check, so...
And just knee tank early, so... don't really have a lot to work with yet. We'll see what they decide to do after they've checked out Brinstar.
Yeah, unfortunately the route being a little forced for them. I guess they could actually just 1 E-tank right over in direct ship with Grappling Beam. I don't think we'll see either of them opt to do it, but it is available.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily want to do it with 1 missile pack either.
Yeah, 0 missile packs for Ponk, not looking exciting.
I mean, you might find one in the moat, you could check like last missiles or whatever, but it's a little out of the way just to force early wreck ship without speed.
But yeah, sure enough, both runners just going straight for Green Bryn Star. That's a really high density area of major items, so it'll be good to see them sweep that out. And at this point, with power bombs already, they'll only be at risk of having to skip the waterway location on their first pass, because they also have grapple if they decide to go down Red Tower toward X-Ray. And speaking of X-Ray,
that is the exact same spot as last game, although this time they don't have plasma, so I don't think they're going to skip it anyway, but that's one I might consider skipping, actually. And Sephi might, if he feels like he's too far behind from the deboost at the beginning.
I think here, even just the equity of being able to check items with X-Ray throughout the run makes it worth grabbing. It's going to pay off for over the 7 seconds, but I can see some runners, particularly if it screws up their menuing, if they aren't used to running with it from a category where you do get it, just worrying about it screwing up menuing, it can cost a lot more than that 7 seconds, but both runners taking it.
Yeah, and I do well with it, like I item cancel okay, but every now and then it still catches me. And really nice power bomb count already. If they find... Go ahead.
Oh no, it's just this 10-10-10 for Sephi and Ponk both. Really nice ammo distribution so far in this seed too, just overall.
And getting a reserve tank, it's a little hard to skip that one. You just kind of jump right into it.
Yeah, I think I've successfully skipped a reserve tank at that location exactly once, and I think I had speed booster or space jump in order to do it.
I skipped it once, but it was very unsuccessful because I ended up falling down. But yeah, it's not bad to have a reserve at this point. It can actually save you pretty easily if you get it filled up and have to do hell runs.
Yeah, I mean, this early, turning down a reserve tank, I mean, while it may be the populist thing to do, you can definitely make use of the extra 100 available HP.
And if you're literally tasked, you can go and do Dragon first.
And Ponk doing a good job opening up the wave gate first try there, using the normalized setup and getting a spazer for himself. Sephi not using the normalized setup, but looked like he got it their third try anyway.
Yeah, it can be a bit tricky if you don't do that nice little setup that was found, but it's not that bad. And even if he hadn't hit it, it's just spazer. I mean, he wouldn't have known that, but so far, the seed doesn't really give them a lot to work with. It's just X-ray, spazer. Grappling beam is probably the best item, in my opinion, and doesn't really come into play until a little bit later.
Yeah, at this point, excluding Morphing Ball, I would take Super Missile as the best item on the board.
Yeah. Definitely.
There's not been a lot of winners here in this seed, but all the items useful. Energy tank pretty high up on the list.
Oh yeah. Actually, I take it back. Energy tanks might be the best. Because if you're not going to get anything else, might as well have enough energy to take hits.
Yeah, one more power bomb pack and Crystal Flash is on the table, so it's always nice.
And here comes our first use of Grapple Beam.
That's what you think. I think he's going to deboost the whole way.
Yeah, he might.
So
Looks like that's what he's doing. Oh no.
Yeah, it is faster to not wait on the waivers here.
Yeah, using him to get a quick boost to speed and then taking over with Grapple. Oh,
and
debooster.
wow. committing to the item, saying he's going to take it no matter what, and getting speed booster out of it. That's a really nice find.
I honestly wouldn't be too surprised if he came out and went straight back up the tower.
For wrecked ship or for waterway?
Both actually. Maybe ship first. I wasn't even thinking about waterway until you mentioned it.
Yeah,
But you're right though. Like,
I was gonna say, it depends, honestly. I think this might be as close as he's gonna be to waterway, and if he wants to see that location,
yeah,
I think now's a good time.
It's one of those locations that, and it looks like he's just going down, which, you know, I respect that too. That's perfectly fine. The thing is, like you said, that's the closest you're going to get to waterway, and even though it is a bit of a backtrack, that can be a suit, and, you know, that could save you a lot of trouble if you go down. If it turns out to be like Faria, and you go all the way down to Norfair and clear out all of that, that's a lot of time wasted before finding it.
Yeah, this decision out of X-Ray is really the first big decision that our runners are faced with here, and Ponk has already made his choice. I imagine Sephy has too, we just don't know what it is yet. But I'm interested to see if they do the same thing or if they make a different choice here.
And they're both going the same route. You know, I think Sephy made this decision based on his energy. Even though there is the energy refill right at the bottom. Going across, he has grapple to get across, but Fantoon hits really hard, and I don't think he wants to bank on having a good fight, because even the most experienced runners can easily die to Fantoon with no suits and that low energy.
Yeah, and I see some discussion of what the right choice is here. There's merits to any of them based on whether you think you're going to have to check those locations, but Wreck Ship is very slow to clear out if you commit to checking all 4 of the major locations. So it's not only about optimizing the number of locations you check, but also it's really about optimizing the number of major locations per time at this point.
Yeah, and I think another valid strategy here would honestly be to check what Crate has to offer and then decide if they want to go up again. Because if it turns out to be like a Varia suit, then they can just go down and not worry about it too much.
Yeah, nice quick kill from Ponk there. Using, I think he went with a 4 supers kill. I didn't catch whether he went for 2 missiles or not. I guess he's missing 2 missiles. He probably did a 2 missile strat.
Either way, very nice kill.
But he would have the crate drops, so who knows? I just missed it, but either way, did a good job with it. And
Kraid, his item was just a reserve tank, so not giving him much help. Had a little high five there as Ponk was exiting and Sephy was entering. And another E-tank.
Yeah, so now, I mean, 5 E-tanks plus reserves, plus speed. There's a lot of real estate in Upper Norfair, and I would expect Ponk to go down that way.
Yeah, and I mean, at the very least, check high jump and ice. They have way more than enough energy to do the hell runs that they would have to. So it's, again, a gamble if you wanted to go up or continue on. It's a lot of time lost to farming, but if they leave and Various Suit isn't a hell run, then it's a lot more time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, Sephy also has the option of a Crystal Flash available, and so he wouldn't even need to spend all that much time farming.
This is true.
I think that, and another reserve for Ponk here at High Jump Boots. This is one where we could have seen the X-Ray check save a little bit of time. But yeah, if he decides that he wants the reserve, he might just be going for the full set of 4.
Who knows? Maybe he's going for the full set of 28 that we have in this randomizer. I think, yeah, these guys are just doing the same route here. We'll see if Sephi uses X-ray strats and saves himself 7 seconds.
And I think this is still, even in the new logic, the consensus best route. It has the most majors per time checked, and therefore gives you the most chances to find what you're looking for. And Sephi also grabbing that reserve tank.
Oh, nice. We've got Charge Beam and Ice.
Yeah. It's a nice little sync there with a very large disparity between what the runners are finding.
Yep.
Ponk picking up his Charge Beam. I imagine we'll see Sephi go get that in just a minute.
And they won't really have to worry about getting more ammo, although they'll probably still end up trying to get 30 for Ridley, unless they find more beam upgrades. Spacer Charge is nice, but it's not exactly the the most powerful combo.
Yeah, and I like what Ponk's doing here. With Speed Booster just going Croc Speedway, I think we'll probably see him do a Croc check.
Yeah, the area is not heated, so it's safe, and he just got Charge Beam, so he's not in danger of having to like run out of ammo and farm.
Sephi about to get his Charge Beam, but I actually like this routing from here. Either runner looking for various suit, but there's a lot of other value items that they could find to help out if they do decide to go down into Lower Norfair from here, which is what they both would optimally want to do. But there's just so many convenience items that the extra 2 majors that Croc has here. Yeah, such a screw attack.
That's a very, very nice item for going into Lower Norfair. And as we saw from last round, both of these runners comfortable with high jump plus lava dive. So if Varia does turn out to be in Lower Norfair, or Upper Norfair, this is definitely a really good route to take.
Yeah, it looks like Sephi going Frog Speedway. We'll see if he heads down and back to Croc or if he's over to Bubble Mountain.
So he's going to farm here and then probably do Bubble. He could gate glitch back through, but I think if he was going to go through that, he would have just gone through Croc Speedway.
Yeah, I think if you're committing to doing Croc from this sort of route, you wanted to go ahead and check the ice location first before doing high jump most of the time, because it sets you up with a slightly cleaner path through Upper Norfair. So this tells me that he's probably wanting to go Bubble Mountain.
And Ponk finding Screw Attack, which is a fantastic item. Other items only an E-Tank. Gives him more health for the Hell runs, but not really a necessity. So Croc, not necessarily paying off, although the Screw Attack will definitely be useful.
Yeah, I mean, will it save the 2 minutes over the course of the run? Maybe not. But it definitely isn't a bad item to have.
And instead of having some trouble with Bubble Mountain because of Speed Booster, I think. Stunting his jumps a little bit.
Yeah, this through the door Speed Booster Bubble Mountain climb is, to put it lightly, a bit of a pain. Just Speed Booster without high jump boots on jump height is my least favorite thing about how this game works, almost.
Getting a fantastic, I think that's a pixel perfect jump off the smaller ledge.
I think there's a few pixels to get it done. It's basically an Alcatraz jump, so it's just a delayed wall jump, but still a fairly tricky jump to nail, and he gets it quite cleanly.
At the very least, it looks pretty impressive.
And yeah, we don't know what it is. Text box says E-Tank.
We'll take the text box's word for it. But just going full ham on supers and shooting twice to open the energy tank.
Ponk going for an indoor setup, a little tighter than the through the door setup. but now trying to make that wall jump that we were just talking about. Just a tricky jump. And we'll see what Wave Beam holds. We know Ponk is going to go find his energy tank up here at speed. Sephy going for some intended grapple strats. They're having a little bit of trouble.
Oh,
but
well.
Yeah.
Space jump will help him.
Yeah, that's a good find.
Getting back should be easier now. Health is looking a little bit low because he took a spike hit. Not quite landing his grapple jump, but with his reserve, he should be okay, I think. And like you said, he's got enough ammo that he can do crystal flashes, so I think we'll probably see him do that just to save some time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a crystal flash out of Sephy right here.
Yeah, he's just doing it right now. I might have gone up and done it by the door, but this works.
Yeah, I mean, with crystal flash, you just usually you'll stop a little bit ahead of time just to make sure you've got a safe spot to get it off without taking any damage, because you don't have any iframes during the crystal flash. So if there's enemies around, you take per frame damage as they pass through you, and so it can really wreck your attempt to restore your health.
And Ponk picked up those convenient power bombs there, so he can do the same if he needs to. And so far we've seen actually quite a few power bombs in this seed. They're not as common because of the ratio, but sometimes you get a seed that's just full of them.
Yeah, so just an E-tank for Sephy, meaning that Various Suit is not to be found here, and I think both the runners are going to be pushed back up to Waterway and or Wrecked Ship at this point.
Yeah, I think what I would do is probably go to Wrecked Ship and then check Waterway on the way back down. Because Wrecked Ship is 4 items, whereas Waterway is just the 1. But
it looks like Sephy's headed to Croc here, and I'm not surprised seeing him clear out the rest of Upper Norfair.
Yeah, he skipped it last race, but he had a lot more items to work with at that point. So I don't think he wants to risk having it be there and have Ponk get it and just lose based on that.
Yeah, Sephy's gamble last race was basically the if I can skip Croc plus Waterway plus Wrecked Ship and still get through Meridia, that's going to save time for doing Suitless because of the total time of those locations to move between them if I were looking for Gravity. Unfortunately, Gravity was in a really obvious spot that wouldn't have been too tough to get to as Ponk did.
Yeah.
But in theory, a sound call.
And as I pointed out, and part of the problem was that he also wasted a bit of time trying to do Suitless without high jump boots. But if he had gone straight to Waterway, gotten the high jump boots, and then Gravity had been in either Meridia itself or like a really far out of the way spot, like Reserve Tank in Wrecked Ship, he might have been able to make it work, but as it stood, it was just too much time loss to go with it. And as we saw, Gravity was right there. And Ponk making his way back up, done checking everything in Upper Norfair. We'll see if he goes to Waterway.
Yeah, it looks like straight to Wrecked Ship for Ponk. Gonna pass on Waterway, so even though Sephy's a little bit behind at this point, if we see him head for Waterway, that will be a potential for him to make up some of that time, or even get back in the lead.
And we'll see. It can't be a suit, but if he's going to check Gauntlet, I think now's probably the time as well. You can wait and check it like way later, but it could be Ice Beam.
I was gonna say, with speed and direct ship, I think that there's not too much he'd be looking for from Gauntlet that he can't reasonably get after wrecked ship.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say, is like to go after clearing wrecked.
Yeah, if he was missing speed, I like checking Gauntlet on the way in.
Yeah, that makes sense. And with Space Jump and Screw Attack, when they finally do get the Varia suit, it's going to be pretty easy to get through Norfair. So we'll see pretty fast movement, I assume.
Yeah, through all of this, finding not a lot of suits, but lots of E-tanks and a lot of other utility items, because there haven't been a lot of beams or suits, so all the other majors getting slowly checked off the list. Ponk making his way into Fantoon already.
Oh no.
It's like, Sephy has jagated himself by missing those two supers. We're gonna have to see him go back and probably farm the Cack Attack here. A little bit of a time loss.
It's unfortunate, but he can't get supers right here. Pretty easy. And hopefully not doing the same thing twice.
Yeah. It would be real tragic at that gate if he manages to, like, Kekumen show you and shoot it 17 times and still not get through. But he makes it through safely the second time, first try.
Second time, first try. I love it.
Every try is a new first try.
Good way to look at it. And Ponk trying to Doppler Fanny. I think he got a little bit trolled there. But shouldn't have any trouble with Screw Attack. He can just jump through and not worry about taking much damage.
Yeah, Screw Attack. The Fantoon fight, one of many places that Screw Attack helps immensely.
Yeah.
If you accidentally enrage Fantoon here by miscounting your shots.
You can do what Ponk is trying to do and like shoot the flames as they spawn to, negate them coming out and get all the drops. But the timing is pretty precise. Spacer is nice for doing that, but definitely doesn't work all the time. And as you're trying to say,
yeah, this is exciting. This is Sephy heading right for Waterway,
and this in the last seed it was high jump, which could have paid off if gravity hadn't been where it was. In this seed, if it's gravity, do we see Meridia? And if it's Varia, he's going straight to Norfair, which will be interesting.
Yeah, if it's either suit, I think we'll see him go right for the respective area.
Holding our breath. 2 item checks back to back. 2 different locations.
And
oh my goodness.
Gravity for Ponk and an E-tank for Sephy.
Just an E-tank is heartbreaking.
Yeah, that is not what Sephy needed there in order to help close this one. But we'll see him head up to Rex ship. He'll find his gravity suit. And the best thing to hope for now, I think, is a very convoluted location of Varia in Meridia.
Like Shrek Tool or Plasma.
Exactly. Those are the two that I would immediately think of.
And in the last race, Ponk was pretty much go mode after that, but since he doesn't have Varia yet, he does have to check all these locations. So the Rex ship will take a while. And finding Plasma, that definitely upgrades his beam combo, and he can now fry both, or microwave both Botswoon and Dragon.
And I think we'll see Sephi get both gravity and plasma here in due time. But oh, that red tower strat from Sephi, really clean.
Yeah, and I think we saw Scotty do that
Mhm.
the other day, and it's just really impressive to see. For whatever reason, that top block is always just really trolly, but you're able to shoot it out and also jump through it at the same time, which looks really nice.
Yeah, it's a lot like the wall jump and angle up shot into down grab strat that we see a lot of runners employ, but with space jump just looks... Well, we don't see it all the time. We've seen a few runners employ it in the tournament, I think, but definitely Scotty has recently done it.
And Ponk having a little bit of difficulty without high jump boots. That getting a high enough for that spark there is a little tricky. But he's got space jump and screw attack, so he just does the old backup, which I think might have been faster in the long run anyway.
And here's an X-ray check, finding bombs at the wrecked ship reserve location. I don't think we'll see Ponk go for that, but we'll see.
Yeah, since he's already got 15 power bombs, and it's kind of out of the way just for bombs, I think I would skip it.
Yeah, 15 power bombs plus already having space jump. I don't think there's a lot of utility in it, but we could see it happen.
If he's worried about the soft lock and thinks he's far enough ahead that he can get away with it, we might see it.
I don't think you ever go bowling and feel like you're very far ahead.
No, you're right about that. I would agree. So do you know for sure which is a bigger time sink, bowling or Crocomire?
It depends where you consider it from and what sort of reset strats you employ, but I think Crocomire is almost always the bigger time sink.
Yeah, I think in the scenario where they've got charged plasma, maybe not, because then you don't have to worry about getting screwed over by that, and then you can just take a save and reset.
Even still, the majors and Croc are so far apart that it's just always an egregious time sink.
Yeah, you're right.
But a nice fan tune from Sephi there, just using Dopplers to get it done.
Beautiful execution.
Almost had the 2-round, falling just a little short. But I think we'll see Sephi clear out wrecked ship. With gravity, it's possible that we see him do something we've seen a couple runners do. Notably, I think Darko has a predilection for doing this. Dipping out after just checking the first 2 items here in wrecked ship, where he'll have found his gravity suit and his plasma. He may think that that is all that wrecked ship has. But without Varia...
Yeah, that's the biggie. And we already know that Varia is not there. The other 2 items are, in fact, not really worth it. So, dipping out wouldn't be a bad idea, but I don't think Sephi's going to. Unless he wants to take the gamble.
Yeah, I know Sephi does like memes and gambling, so we may see some calls in that vein. Checking some things out of sequence if he thinks that Ponk just happened to get where he went quicker. And after having found the E-Tank at Waterway, I think that Sephi probably feels like he is behind.
Yeah, it's kind of out of the way. And Ponk finding Wave Beam, not necessarily what he was looking for, but it's definitely going to improve his damage. So, yeah, he'll take it. And
so I see some discussion of where suits can and can't be. Both runners haven't been to Gauntlet yet, but no suit can spawn in Gauntlet, so the only items that they could reasonably want from Gauntlet would be Ice Beam, Spring Ball, or High Jump Boots at this point.
And for all you Shack Tool lovers out there, it's definitely still on the table for Faria.
Sephy taking a ton of damage on his reverse traversal of the Spike Room and Wrecked Ship. Gravity Suit not protecting at all from the damage in that room, but thankfully he has... a
disgusting amount of E-Tanks?
Yeah, I was going to say 9 E-Tanks already, so...
Yeah. They certainly have found a lot of energy, and picking it up isn't bad, but the more you have, the less it becomes good to find. So, the less you want to find it, and then when you go to a place like Waterway and just find another one, you're like, well, the odds were against it. But
and there's High Jump Boots, so it looks like we'll see Ponk backtrack and grab those from Batwoon, and probably go for a full halfie here.
It looked for a second like he was just going to keep going, and then he decided against it to try and halfie, or full halfie. Which, that's fine. Like, getting it on the way back would be faster for actually collecting the item, but I think it speeds this up enough that it makes sense.
Yeah, unfortunately missing his 6th wall jump. Ponk uses a really interesting full halfie setup with 6 wall jumps as opposed to the typical 4, but can pull it off, so unfortunately it didn't quite work, but
he's a brave man for doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And Sephy taking his bowling ride.
I think maybe the Chozo or Chorizo missed a little bit and went off the lane just a little bit. And Sephy finding his bombs and E-Tank and noping out of both of them. He already checked Waterway, which Ponk took the time to go check. I don't think he's going to check Gauntlet at this point, so straight to Meridia. And what Ponk didn't do was he didn't save and then go check Sandpit. So what Sephy might do is go up, save, check Sandpit and Mama Turtle in one swoop, and then reset. Because I've known him to do that. He's talked about it several times.
Yeah, I think that's usually a strat he likes for Suitless, but yeah, we could see him take some interesting routing through Meridia. A nice Moonfall with Screw Attack there down through Red Tower for Sephy, as Ponk is heading over. Looks like he's headed right for Plasma at this point.
Honestly, that Moonfall there with Screw Attack is the entire reason I love Moonfall so much. It's a very narrow-minded use, but I love it.
I mean, it looks cool. It's super effective. So, I definitely appreciate it.
And Ponk gambling on just going to Plasma first. That's a fine choice. The other option would have been to go down and check Sandpit and or Sandpit and Shack Tool, and then take the tube up. But if it's here, and it's not, unfortunately. But if it had been there, it would have been less time sink than checking Shack Tool.
Yeah, and this is an interesting routing call if Ponk is fully committed to sweeping out all of Meridia, which I think he is.
I mean, he kind of has to be unless he wants to RBO run, which
exactly
is recommended.
Yeah, so cleanly routing this in with all of the other locations in Meridia. is always difficult, but going Sandpit to Plasma and then backtracking to Shock Tool is probably the most efficient in terms of, if you're looking for exactly one item, in terms of expected value and time of pathing. So it's an interesting sequence, a little bit of a gamble from Ponk, but I like it.
I also can't blame him for doing it. It was definitely a call that could have been correct. And if it had been Varia, he could have just taken the tube down and gone straight to Norfair from there. So
exactly. There's a few different ways to look at that one, but a defensible choice going up for Plasma, and it looks like we'll see him now go over to Sandpit and then do Shock Tool last, which is the consensus best thing to do if you're full clearing Meridia, especially if you're trying to head down to Lower Norfair from there. And 5, but not getting the doorway from Sephi. There was some discussion of whether 4 or 5 was the most typical. 6, of course, an odd number, but I'll interrupt that thought because Ponk finding his Varia suit.
And that's exactly what he wanted. The only thing he really needs now is to kill Ridley, hope he gets ice. And if not, it's not a huge deal. But yeah, going back to what you were saying, 6 is in fact an even number. I don't know if you knew that.
Tell me more.
I know you're just kidding, but or using it in a different context. But I think I see more people using 5. It just feels more natural to me personally, but that could just be bias. So I don't know. You tell us in chat. What do you use for your full halfies?
I've seen a lot of 5s. I think Elm and Sloters threw out 5. I've seen some 4s. I can't execute full halfies, so I don't get a vote in this matter.
Well, in that case, my vote is invalid as well. But I have gotten as far as 7 frames, I think, through the door, so I'm getting there. It's got to be a bit more tight on the jumps and ledge grab. And Ponk wasting no time with that speed booster, space jump, screw attack, high jump. He's just flying through.
Yeah, this is go mode for Ponk. He is gonna blaze through Lower Norfair, and we'll see how long it takes Sephi to get there. Sorry, Cheatface, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Sephi definitely has the movement tech. He's a very good runner. I think it really just depends on which item he checks first. And it looks like he's probably going to go Sandpit first, which is a good thing for him.
Yeah, this is going to work out in Sephi's favor. Not going to make up all of this time, of course, because Ponk has already been here and is currently taking the elevator down into Lower Norfair. We get that sweet music change.
Yeah, Lower Norfair music is always hype. Get you pumped up for what you're about to do, which is kill a giant space pelican.
If you're me, it's die a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can kill you here.
And a nice wall jump into Morph there for Sephi. Without bombs and Spring Ball, getting up to this item can be a little bit of a pain. If you want to jump and morph, the window to do it with high jump boots is pretty tight, and so usually you'll see runners either use a wall jump into an immediate morph, like the last jump in Alcatraz, or you'll see them turn off high jump boots. And so Sephi taking the faster strut, really clean execution, getting up to that Varia suit.
I think at least for actually jumping up to get the item itself, I'm pretty sure you can take off gravity suit to jump and morph, so you don't have as fast of a jump height.
Yeah, that works.
Easy.
That works really well in the spring ball area because you have a lot more leeway, and a couple other areas where you might want to do it, but that is not an underwater location.
Oh, you're right. It's not. My mistake.
No worries. It's definitely a bit of a weird area. All these areas in Meridia that are half underwater, but that one I definitely know is out of the water, because getting out of the water to go get gravity suit at that location without space jump is a real pain in the butt.
You know which, and it's not even in Meridia, you know which item or spot baffles me is in Torian at G4, like when you're entering, that part is underwater by the elevator, but then Torian doesn't have any water in it. And it always made me think.
Yeah, you would have thought that whoever Mother Brain had doing the engineering on Zebes to set up her subterranean lair would have done a better job with the drainage systems, but Samus probably could have rolled through those, so maybe it's better that it doesn't have more extensive piping.
And
memes aside, Ponk making a nice fight here of Ridley, doing a good job just utilizing some charged plasma.
And
charged
since
plasma.
he doesn't have ice, so the combo doesn't hit quite as hard, but ice is the least damaging beam, so it's not a huge loss in damage. And since they had to pick up so many tanks, he just has enough to take him face first.
Sephi going for a really nice strat here in Amphitheater, going for the through the door wall jump strat, and missing it. He had the frame there, he had the right jump, but almost getting it.
It's a fantastic jump to see.
Yeah, it's a really cool strat when you pull it off. Unfortunately, having to fall all the way down.
And we're going to have another high five here soon, as Sephi's entering and Ponk is leaving.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what Sephi can do to catch up now. If ice isn't at Firefly, which I don't know if Punk's going to bother checking, but if Sephi gets ice somehow and Punk doesn't, that could save some time. Could also be at Gauntlet, but if it's not either of those, I think it has to be Shaktul. So there's no way they're getting that if that's the case.
Yeah, did Punk check the Ridley item? I didn't catch it. I was watching to see if Sephi got that jump there in Amphitheater.
I think he did. I could be wrong. No.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he checked it. He's going. He's just skipped Firefly. He's not having any more items. He just wants it.
So
he wants that win.
If Sephi gambles on one of these items and checks and hits Ice Beam, that could help. It wouldn't make up all of the time difference at this point.
No, because you also have to
help.
factor in the check itself and the fanfare. And if it wasn't the item, then he'd have 2 checks, and that's even more time. And yeah. And they've had a lot of power bombs for quite a long time, so they'll have no problem dealing with Metroids without ice. And both of them familiar with the speed skip, so.
Yeah, the runners, of course, don't know where one another are, so it's possible, unlikely, that Sephi feels like he is ahead based on where the items have been located, but he's still putting up a very nice time. And same with Ponk, he could think that because of checking plasma and how late he went to the Meridia reserve location, the sandpit location, he could feel like he's even behind, so I'm sure Ponk is just gunning it, but Sephi is going to check the Ridley item. And just the 4th reserve.
That is not what he wanted to see, and it's going to be really really tough to catch up. I don't know if he can do it honestly, but knock on wood, we'll see how Ponk fares. He hasn't saved at all. Neither of them have, so tragedy could strike at any moment.
Yeah, if Fire Flea is ice, and Ponk skips stand up and baby skip, and Sephi gets both of those, I think we're looking at a very close race. So even without any tragedy, I think that there are still outs for the game 3 here.
In any case, it's a very good match so far.
Yeah,
Doing this a lot.
These have been really interesting games. And the fish allowed to live.
I think maybe he heard us. We should look into that. Make sure that he's not cheating. But no, seriously.
Nah. Both these runners,
Definitely.
Really good friends. Just really excited for this match. No impropriety here.
You know, I just realized maybe he didn't mean to kill the fish. Maybe he was trying to freeze it to stand on, and it just went horribly wrong.
I'll take this one, I guess. Sephi finding his ice beam here at Fire Flea.
And that's exactly what he wanted to see. That's the first step toward comeback.
Yeah, that is step 1 of things turning around for Sephi here. So
there is a lot more that goes into it than just that, but we have our first step.
Yeah, he's still going to need a little bit of help, but he will have a faster Torian.
If you...
There's a lot of map between him and Torian, though.
Yeah, if you're hyped for this Ponk win, you should type PogChamp in chat. If you're hyped for a Sephi comeback, Debated will do.
Debated will do. I feel like that's no more needs to be said about that one. And Ponk going for some grouping strats here for Metroid Room 1.
Now, normally you'd have to be a bit careful because they do drain a lot of health, but with their energy tanks, that's not really an issue. And with their power bomb count, they don't have to worry about running out.
Oh, and one of those Metroids sticking on that first platform. He scrolled the screen a little too fast, but looks like he got him down in 3.
There is a flurry of debated in chat.
Did you expect anything less?
Nope.
Or anything more for that matter. But Ponk making his way through the Metroid rooms as Sephi heads up to visit his fish.
I wonder if he'll give it a hug goodbye, or if he's just gonna blaze a trail and get the most perfect ending to this run and win somehow.
I think each of these runners understands how good their opponent is, better even than we watching do. So
yeah, these guys race a lot, and they're both really, really good. So you should definitely give them a follow if you haven't.
Yeah, they're both really fun to watch. Really, great community members, and I mean, I'm sure if you've been watching this tournament at all, you've heard each of them on commentary numerous times. They're just doing great stuff with Super Metroid.
Ponk setting up for this baby skip. So far, it looks pretty good. Accidentally firing the wrong way and then missing a tiny bit.
Yeah, but a clean skip otherwise. So
very nice.
Sephi taking his ship refill, a little low on health, so taking a little longer than he might like.
And I think Ponk is not saving.
You know,
there's still hope.
You know what would save all this time, right? Would we get Sephy back into this? Slope Spark.
You're right.
Not quite.
Nope.
Not quite.
Valiant effort. Ponk getting a nice speed skip.
Yeah, both these runners showing off some pretty precise tricks, or at least trying to, keeping it interesting, doing a little bit of a skills showcase there. The speed Zeb skip, of course, kind of the prescribed time-saving trick for Ponk without Ice Beam. So, questions about Slope Spark. Slope Spark is a way to store a Shine Spark, a lot like a Spike Suit or a Spark Suit. And the popular way to utilize it is to use it to skip the baby.
Yeah, like right after you can do like the first jump, I think, and then shoot and spark, and you can skip right past. And it's incredibly cool to see. I think Sephy almost got it once with just Spazer Beam, which is crazy.
I definitely haven't seen that, but
Wave Spazer. He was just a little bit off. He bonked. He was either too low or too high. I don't remember.
Yeah, so Ponk making it through Mother Brain 2.
And it looks like he's gonna do stand up. So, oh my goodness.
He had that calculated. Surprised he went for the second hit there, honestly. He was good on one hit.
He doesn't know that he needs to play this careful, but he definitely needs to play this careful.
I mean, he knows he needs to play it careful.
Right.
There's not too many places that Sephy could have gone in this run that would have misled him. But he's not locked to the ground, he has X-Ray, he's not sliding into Mother Brains, so unless he locks the game up at this point, he should be good. Unless he manages to put Baby in the ceiling. We've seen that so far. We've seen that before.
If he ends up getting Baby stuck in the ceiling, or like on Mother Brain's knee, or ends up firing at the wrong spot, it's Sephy's. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure... Oh.
Baby almost went in the ceiling there.
Ponk has got to be sweating right now.
And he's got time for a few more shots here. But I think we'll see him lay off and wait for the transition. Yep. And yeah, that was a clean stand-up from Ponk.
Needs a few shots because I think he didn't quite go as hard on it as he could have, but definitely saved him some time.
He could have gotten more, but without ice, it's, I think, impossible to get the optimal stand-up because you need 39 shots normally to get the one-shot Mother Brain with the full beam. But Sephy getting a nice speed Zeb skip and onto Mother Brain 2 as Ponk is starting his escape.
And this race, it was also really close, and it definitely came down to routing again, which both runners could have chosen to do things slightly differently, and this outcome could have been flipped. So very nice to both of them, and unfortunately Sephy will be going to loser's bracket, but he is still not out of this, so we'll get to see more of that. And GG's to Ponk. Sorry, kind of spoilers, but he already got done.
Yeah, there is quite a stream delay for Ponk, so yeah. No spoilers here, but yeah, Ponk has donned.
This is fine in chat if you think Sephy's going to make a tear through the loser's bracket and meet back up with Ponk in grand finals.
Yeah, So let me take a look at the bracket and just see where these rounders are headed. Ponk is headed on to face the winner of the to face Scotty McBody, is how that one went down. So that will be the semis there.
Yeah.
In the winners bracket already. That came up fast.
Yeah, we still have quite a few matches in the losers bracket, but this top is almost decided. We just have 2 more matches to go until we have our semi.
And that is 160. So I'm looking for where loser of match 160 ends up. Okay, so he will face the winner of the string of matches that involve CFB and Kelcharge and then Dread. And then on the other side of the bracket, Just Defend and Balthasar into Strayveris into Travictox. And so one of those 7 people will be Sephi's next opponent.
Yeah, that's quite a number of possible outcomes, and all those guys are pretty good. So we're we're in for a treat. Just a lot of good match rate all around.
All of the players left in this tournament, winners bracket and losers bracket, are just excellent players at this point.
And as amazing as this winners bracket is, I feel really bad for that losers bracket.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players in both parts of that bracket. So, I mean, we have the 1 seed and 2 seed in the losers bracket. The nature of Randomizer with both Wild Anaconda and Zost already in the losers bracket, looking to make a tear through it to come back and win. So there are a lot of good matches to play. Everything left in this tournament, all of the content is going to be fantastic, and it has been so far. Sephy missing his left side spark, unfortunately.
Oh no! Also missing the Behemoth spark.
0 for 2. Sephy getting the Behemoth spark first try there.
Second try. And we'll see if he decides to check out the animals. Give him a nice warm welcome with his laser beam. Nope, just gonna head to the ship. And it looks like Spring Ball was at Spring Ball. So Shaktul is guarding our favorite item.
And let's see where Sephy's gonna go. He's gonna go up to the top here and fire off some hyper beam shots. Try and find
white show. I wonder if you might try and do the. Wait, you can go back through? I thought that door locked.
No, I guess the doors in the escape. Only the ones that aren't already grayed out. Gray out on you, I guess. Let's see what happens to the animals today. We know what happened to the fish.
He's hopping on that Edicoon's head.
Didn't realize you could jump on that Edicoon, but
it looks like Sephy is choosing to die with the animals. What a noble cause. And I like that it stops at like waist height, where you can just keep wall jumping to avoid it until the planet explodes. Oh, he isn't gonna die with the animals. He decided his cause is better than the animals.
And is he gonna save them, or is he going to? He's going to Kago through the Edicoon. And yeah, he's going to save the animals this time.
In honor of Punk's victory, he's gonna
Yeah.
Okay.
Opening the door.
He leaves the door.
Let him get out.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not truly saving them if you don't leave them away to get out. Even if you are only saving them on a technicality.
Yeah, we're all getting a little debated by Sephy.
But he can't fool us. He's done with a second place time of, 1:04:45. So after he's done checking out Gauntlet here, he should get back down to the ship. We'll see if he does anything special, like try and get Echoes on the ship.
Looked like he was going for it, but that is a very tight, like, stutter 4 or something like that.
GG's, Sephy.
Yeah, GG's to Sephy and Ponk. Congratulations to Ponk on his match win.
Very fun race.
Both of these guys are great runners. Go give them a follow. Follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2. Lots of great Super Metroid and other game content happening for tournaments on these channels. So
yeah, and go give Fiesel all of your love and money so that he can continue being amazing and hosting all of this stuff for us.
Yeah, this tournament has been a blast so far. And so thank you for letting me join you on commentary, Cheaty Face.
No problem. It was fun commentating with you, and I'm glad you were able to join me for this. Not saying I wouldn't have done the solo commentary, but I definitely feel better with a partner.
It's all good. It's always good to have someone to chat back and forth with. I know I appreciate having someone around making sure I'm not spouting utter nonsense.
Keep you in check. I like that too.
Exactly.
And
keep me on the rails, because once I'm off the rails, I'm just done.
You know it's bad when you start talking about numbers for something that isn't even happening in the game.
Exactly. It's a thing that I might... Nah, I'd never do that.
Oh. And GG's to chat for tuning in and watching this and making it a success. Let's see, what do we got coming up today? At
So I know.
6 p.m. Yep. And continuing on through the night, we have Darko versus Alucard 2004. And you are going to be commentating for the first game.
Yeah, I'll be back to commentate Darko versus Alucard, Game 1 at 6 p.m. And I think I'm going to be joined by Southern Kip. I'm refreshing the sheet. Yeah, Southern Kip and I are going to be on the first game, and then he's going to stick around for games 2 and 3. I can't, unfortunately. So it looks like Christofalo is going to step in and do games 2 and 3. And then later...
That looks like that's going to be on Speed Gaming 2, because there's going to be, not sure what on one, maybe Fusion or Link to the Past or Earthbound, something like that. Fiesel can confirm.
Yeah, then at 10:30, it looks like we have Balthazar vs. Just Defend Game 1, following Darko Alucard, but back on Speed Gaming. And so, yeah. Even though it's been a little quiet lately with the Super Metroid matches getting thinner as the competition gets more and more fierce and the participants more and more rarefied, we have 4 more matches today, so be sure to check those out. And Deer Force for Sephy, I missed it for Ponk, so let's give him a Hirschcroft. And I think that's pretty much going to do it for this one. So hopefully everyone has something to do for the next 2.5 hours. And we'll be back at 6 p.m. for Darko Alucard.
Again, thank you for commentating with me. And I had a blast. Hopefully everyone has a good day.
Yeah, thank you, Cheaty Face, and take it easy. And thank you very much, Chad, as well.
See you next mission.